So guys, you have about 280 days to make a difference. Most of you have already figured out that what is the perfect timetable. This is the timetable that most of you try to follow, to try to follow these things, and you believe that if you follow that, then you will be out the top of your preparation. Hello dear students, this session is relevant for all the students who are going to write JEE in the year 2026, that is in the month of May next year. Watch this session. In this session, we are going to talk about the timetable that you need to have. So guys, before we start, let's ponder over one question. And that question is a very simple one. Have you ever wondered how many days are left before you write the first attempt of JEE Main examination? Have you wondered? If not, I'll give you the approximate count. It's about 280 days. So guys, you have about 280 days to make a difference. This session is for those students who are moving from grade 11 to grade 12, who have been preparing hard to score well in the JEE Main examination, and especially relevant for those students who are going to school and trying to manage their coaching institute, whether it is online, whether it is offline. They are trying to manage both. So this session will be particularly relevant for those. So watch till the end. Now, I'm pretty sure that after preparing for about 1 year, assuming that you started in grade 11, by now, most of you have already figured out that what is the perfect timetable. Generally when the students start in 11th grade, they take quite a while to come to terms with the amount of hours you need to invest to prepare for JEE Main. Eventually, everyone does, and eventually the students prepare a timetable. Sometimes they prepare on their own. Sometimes it is forced upon them by their teachers, by their parents, and sometimes they discover it from their friends that this is how generally their day looks like. You probably wake up somewhere around 6 a.m. Then from 6 to 7 you do your morning chores. Okay, maybe a bit of revision. I'm not sure how many of you do that, but let's think about a productive person. Okay, then from 7 to 1 you probably spend your time in school. From 1 to 3 p.m. you take a time to travel back to your home. All right, and you take a bit of rest, you freshen up. Okay, then from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. you dedicate yourselves to classes, maybe online classes, maybe offline classes. Maybe you have to travel again to attend your coaching institute if it's an offline institute. If that is the case, probably you take some time to come back home also. So 8 to 9 p.m. Let's assume that you have your dinner, then you again take a bit of rest, and 9 to 11:30 p.m. that is the time when you are able to do some kind of homework, revision. Whatever you have studied, you are able to revise that, and by 11:30 you plan to go to bed. Okay, maybe spend a few minutes with the family. I don't know, that depends on your family members are awake till that late or not. And that is how a typical day looks like in the life of a JEE aspirant who is now moving from grade 11 to grade 12. Now, if you guys agree with me that this is your timetable, this is your perfect timetable, the timetable that you believe to be perfect, you can probably comment, put a comment in the comment section, and you can let me know. If not, if there is a better timetable, probably you can let me know about that also. So probably this is the timetable that most of you try to follow, to try to follow these things, and you believe that if you follow that, then you will be out the top of your preparation. Now, let me ask a very honest question to those students who have been following this timetable for quite some time now. Do you think that it has worked for you? Are you free from the sentiment that my 11th could have been better? I could have done better. Do you feel that you are very, very productive when you follow this timetable? I believe not. I believe not, guys. If you ask me, the timetable is pretty good. But there are some other things, there are some reasons because of which even this good timetable, the so-called perfect timetable, is not able to produce the desired results. Until we identify those areas, until we do that slight tweaking, that slight change in our in the way we look at things, things will not improve. They will continue to be like that. And 12th grade is a high time to continue to ignore these minor tweaks that we need. Let's understand that why this timetable, even if someone follows it, why it fails. Okay, so guys, this timetable lacks with a serious problem, and that problem is low self-study time. Okay, if I go back to the timetable and I show it to you, in this entire schedule, this is the 2.5 hours that you are able to study by self. Otherwise, you are either spending bulk of your time in school or in your coaching institute or in traveling or on doing your daily chores like eating and other things. So 2.5 hours is very small. It's very little a time for self-study. Let's understand, guys. The general thumb rule that you need to keep in mind is that if you are attending 1 hour of theory lecture, then you need about 1.5 hours to revise that theory and then to practice questions from that theory. That is the general thumb rule. So the ratio is 1:1.5. So whatever amount of time you are investing in learning theory, about 1.5 times of that time you need to self-study, to do the self-study on that particular theory. All right, in the timetable that we have shown, if you check, your total self-study time is even less than the number of hours you are spending in your institute. All right, and it is too less when we consider that it's a 24-hour day, and out of that 24-hour day, all right, you are not even able to utilize, you're probably utilizing about 10% of that time in self-study. That is too less, guys. So although this timetable is a good one, I'm not saying that there is any problem with the timetable. In fact, most of you will agree with me that probably there's nothing else that you could do regarding the schedule. The school hours are fixed, the coaching hours are fixed, so probably very little is in your hand. But we have to understand here that whatever the situation is, whatever the constraints are, we need to find a solution. You know, we are trying to be the engineers, the best ones. Okay, and engineers are known to find solutions. So although we can't create a 25th hour in a day of 24 hours, but we need to learn ways to steal time. Okay, we are going to talk about that. So that is one problem. The second and a very big problem is the idea of output days. Now, what do I mean by that? So dear students, you follow the timetable that I showed, probably from Monday to Friday, in some cases from Monday to Saturday. All right, and then you feel convinced that you have worked hard, really hard, for 5 to 6 days, and you consider all of these days as output days. Okay, you consider all of them as output days. Okay, and therefore you are very much convinced that you are working very, very hard. Okay, you have seen your dad, your moms working hard. They work for the entire week, and then they feel a sense of entitlement to do something nice on weekend. All right, so that is the situation that I've seen with many of the JEE aspirants also. They work very hard in following the timetable from Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday, and then they feel that okay, now they are entitled for maybe a social gathering, maybe someone coming to a guest coming to our house. I can spend time with them. Maybe I can go to a party. Maybe I can watch a movie. Okay, they feel entitled to spend the Sunday with the family, or doing stuff that they like, pursuing their hobby. Okay, because they have been working so hard. But the reality is this, guys, that the things that the days that you have considered as your output days, these are not really your output days. No, if you consider them as your output days, then you are mistaken. Let me tell you that what these days, the days when you are able to follow, when you are able to follow your timetable, what they do to you, or how does they help you, how does these days help you. So students, these days, the effort that you have put on these days, it keeps you in the race. It prevents you from getting out of the race. So there are many aspirants, there are many students who are preparing for JEE. All right, each one of them is inching closer to their goal, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. When you follow this timetable, you ensure that you are not left far behind. You are not left behind. You are still maintaining yourself with them. But following this timetable does not, make you beat the competition. No, you have to do something else to beat the competition, because almost every aspirant is doing the same thing. So if you don't do this stuff, you will be far behind, and it will become very difficult to catch up. All right, so these output days, the belief that you are producing, you are doing the output, they help you maintaining, they help you be in the race, but they don't give you the edge. All right, so we need to think of this. We will look at the solutions also. The third thing, or the third problem with the timetable, is that it is exhausting. It is exhausting mentally. All right, you are spending too much of time thinking about attending the classes in school, in coaching institute, doing very little of homework. This will always make you worried, because you will always fall short on your homework. You will not be able to finish it, and that thought, that feeling that my work is not complete, it is very, very exhausting. It takes a toll on you. Constantly trying to finish something and constantly failing to do that, it takes mental toll on you. So it's a very exhausting thing. All right, you are solely focused on investing hour. Now, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Let me try to explain that. Okay, so I'll try to explain this with an example. Let's take an example of a jeweler. Okay, so if I am a jeweler and I want to prepare a jewelry that I can finally sell to a customer, I'll probably get a piece of gold, and then I'll give it to my the worker, my artist who is going to convert it into jewelry. And when that person is going to do that, there will always be little teeny tiny bits of gold pieces that will be wasted. Like in the process of converting that that block of metal into a beautiful jewelry, there will always be some wastage. Now, when this final finished product is put in the front of customer, the customer says that I will only pay for the gold that is present in this jewelry. I'm not going to pay you for the wastage. I don't know how much wastage was there. You may say, tell any amount, and why will I pay for that wastage? Fair enough. But if we look at it from the perspective of the jeweler, to put that jewelry in front of you, I had to waste that gold. Okay, it is not possible to have zero wastage. We can try to minimize it, obviously we will, but there is always some wastage when we try to produce a finished product. Okay, so the jeweler says that why should I bear the cost of that wastage? Okay, something similar happens when you think about your output hours. Okay, like you wake up in the morning and then whatever you are doing throughout the day, that is because you are preparing for JEE. Every action that you are taking, all right, that is because you are preparing for JEE, and you count that as your output. You woke up at 6, you will probably go to sleep at 12. 18 hours you were awake, and all this 18 hours you were totally dedicated to preparation of JEE. So you count your output hours as 18 hours, but it is not. See, ultimately we have to understand that in these 18 hours there has been some wastage to produce the final output. So what I'm trying to say is that, let's say if you're going to an offline coaching institute, you take time to travel to that institute and to come back. Now you count those hours also as the hours of effort. You have put in effort because you are a JEE aspirant, but that effort did not contribute in the final product. Like, it did not added any academic value to you. All right, so you may count it as output, but actually it is not. All right, so you are investing, you are focusing on investing hours, but if those hours are not properly invested, then the outcome would be very poor. So you have to understand that nobody is asking you for an explanation that whatever you have done, like I've seen students, they say that I study for 16 hours, but actual output is only about 5 to 6 hours, because rest everything is wastage. Like, not in the literal sense, like that there are actions that you do to facilitate your study hours. To you are going to a coaching institute, you are studying online, you are going out in the market to buy the stationery on which you are going to work. So all this part of your preparation, but the actual value that is being added is different. It's added in different hours. So identify this, that this action that I'm taking, I might count it as my effort, but is it really adding value to me or not? So start asking yourself that the action that I'm taking, okay, I'm taking it because I'm preparing for JEE, but is it adding a direct value to me? If not, then try to cut that action. If it is essential, if we can't remove that action, try to devote less time to it, like as less as possible. So you have to start focusing on your action, that the hours that you are investing, they are actually the output hours and they are not the facilitation hours. Okay, and finally, this plan fails, or this plan is not able to achieve its outcome, because most of the students believe that if they are following this plan, then this plan is perfect and they don't need anything else. While this plan may be perfect, but the mindset needs to be right so that you can actually take benefit of this plan. So I'll reiterate, the timetable that I showed, that's more or less the timetable that any 12th grader will follow, but there is a change in mindset that is needed to ensure that it is productive also. So if these are the problems, there is very little self-study time, from where am I going to bring more hours to study? All right, output days, okay, if I'm not getting the output by working so hard every day, from where am I going to get the output? Okay, if it is exhausting, what will keep me upbeat? Okay, if the focus, I've already told you that the focus should be right, it should be on the output hours. Okay, and if my plan is not perfect, how do I make it perfect? So what are the solutions? So guys, let's talk about the solutions now. So what works? Okay, so if you have low self-study time, okay, you need to excuse yourself from school. The first thing that comes to mind is that every day you spend about 4 to 5 hours in school, maybe some time to travel to school and back to home. If you cut down on your school, let's say on 1 day a week, maybe 2 days a week, depends upon how relaxed your school is or how cooperative it is, okay, it suddenly boosts your study hours. Okay, for example, we checked that you are studying probably 2.5 hours daily. The amount of time that you're devoting to self-study is about 2.5 hours. In about 5 days or 6 days, that will amount to 12 to 13 hours. Okay, maybe 13, maybe 15. If you take leave from school one day, and the 5 to 6 hours that you were spending in school, okay, if you convert that into your study hours, suddenly the number that was 12 to 15 has now changed to about 18 to 21. Okay, about somewhere around that. So that's approximately 40 to 50% increase in a study hour. Just 1 day leave will add such a great amount to your study hour. So you need to do things which enable you to increase your study hour. The first thing that comes to mind is to excuse yourself from your school. Okay, of course you need to take care of your 4th subject, you need to take care of your 5th subject. I'm not saying that you don't do it. What I'm saying is that taking leave 1 day a week, okay, once a week, something like that, it will not affect your school studies much. Okay, and it will help you greatly in your JEE preparation. So that is first thing. The second thing, okay, if my normal working days are not my output days, from where do I draw the output? So guys, here the change of, the change of thought process that I was saying, like the change of frame of mind. We look upon holidays as days to enjoy. All right, most of us do that. Now those aspirants who look upon holidays as days to be super productive, they leave behind the competition. Remember, I talked about that when you follow this timetable every day, you don't leave the competition behind. You are only staying in the race. You are being with the competition. You are not getting left behind. But when you start focusing upon your holidays as your productive days, as your output days, okay, then you start leaving the competition behind. So if Saturday, Sunday you have weekend, like if your school is only Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they are your gold mines. Okay, these are the days that you need to ensure that they are super productive, because one day utilized properly will give you more than a week's output. Okay, so imagine if you have made use of 10 such days as compared to any other aspirant, then you have gained about 10 weeks as compared to that person. All right, so that's how you gain time. So you don't literally have to be ahead. Like when you start focusing on output hours, you will notice that one output day can add effectively several weeks. Whatever output you were going to have in several weeks, you achieve that in one day. So pounce upon the holidays, don't waste them. If there is an additional holiday coming in a week due to any festival or something, okay, limit your enjoyment of the festival, limit your celebration, or rather celebrate only when you have ensured that you have made good use of your holiday. Like spend most of the time of your holiday in being productive, then you can just spend about an hour or so to celebrate the festival. So your output days are your holidays, your weekends. Okay, ensure that you are making them productive. Okay, then it's exhausting, it's too much exhausting, the mental stress. All right, so what you have to do, you have to plan a recreational activity, anything that makes you happy for the weekend, and keep it as an incentive for making the entire week productive. Like keep telling yourself that if I achieve so and so in this week, then this Saturday or this Sunday I'm going to do this, XYZ. Maybe spend some time with my friend. Okay, maybe I want to play cricket, I will play cricket for 2 hours if I am able to achieve this. Okay, so incentivize yourself for being productive. That will keep you motivated. Okay, and that will eliminate exhaustion also. All right, so that is one thing. Then you have to, instead of planning, instead of thinking about how many hours I have been working upon my JEE, I'm saying working, not studying. Okay, like those facilitation hours are also considered as the effort that we are putting in. So instead of focusing upon them, start focusing upon targets. Like, okay, this week I'm going to solve this and this chapter from so and so book. All right, so apart from ensuring that you are investing enough number of hours, output hours, study hours, also ensure that there is a definite target in your mind that this is what I'm going to attempt this week. Of course, there will be times when you will not be able to fulfill your target, but don't get disheartened. Okay, if this week's target is not met, then assess what was the fault in your planning, what did you overestimate about yourself, and improve it in your next week's target. So plan targets. Okay, and finally, don't think that your plan is perfect. For every perfect plan, we need perfect execution also. It's very rare to have the execution perfect. So plan for buffers also. Like every week, keep 2 or 3 slots of maybe 1.5 hours each, which are your backup slots. Like you assume it that I will not be able to finish whatever target I'm setting, and then I'm going to utilize this buffer slot to finish my target. So keep some buffer time slots open. All right, so they will ensure that you don't lose faith in your plan, you don't lose faith in your timetable. Okay, your timetable is good. I'm reiterating, the timetable that you follow, whatever it is good. It is just a simple change in mindset that is going to do the wonders. Okay, and these are the things that you have to take care of. Now I will also talk about how you can do that. All right, or why it's important to do that. So guys, these things will ensure that you don't get burnt out. All right, you are running like 2 years of preparation is a long period, and we have to ensure that we are never left behind. And at times, not always, at times we are just getting ourselves ahead from the competition bit by bit, and so that by the time you are ready to write the exam, by that time you have created a significant difference between yourself and the rest of the competition. Okay, so how do we do that? Okay, like what is the change in mindset I'm talking about? Like can I get a sample of that? Like all of this is qualitative talk. Can I get a sample? So definitely. All right, so what you need to keep in mind is that your timetable is fine. Okay, you just need to change your focus area. So don't try to tweak your timetable too much. Okay, what you need is to keep this in mind, that what is my first priority. All right, Generally students have their first priority as I said, investing the hours. It can be invested in travel because that is also considered as part of my preparation. It can be invested in watching YouTube lectures because that is also part of my preparation. It can be invested in revising theory, reading a book, something. Okay, all of this is good, but ask yourself that am I able to get at least 24 hours of self-study every week or not? If not, like, you have to ensure that you get it. Okay, ensure that you have studied, by self. I'm discounting classes. I'm not talking about the classes, not the school classes, not the coaching classes. The self-study duration needs to be more than 24 hours per week. If you are not getting this, you need to steal time from somewhere. Okay, you may cut down your school classes, you may cut down your travel time, like, as soon as you are free from your coaching institute or your school, rush back to house, stop wasting time. If you feel that I'm not able to meet my weekly target, okay, then do other activities in an urgent manner, like with a sense of urgency. Maybe sleep less, decrease your sleep by, let's say, 30 minutes or 40 minutes for this particular week in which you believe that I'm not able to meet my weekly target. So this is your target. Like, until now I've been talking about subjective areas, like I've been talking about a shift in mindset. Now I'm talking about mathematics, I'm talking about numbers, that this should be your goal. All right, if your study hours, self-study hours, are less than 24 hours a week, then you're doing something wrong, and whatever you're doing, it will not give you the desired result. Okay, then try to attend all the classes. When I say all the classes, I mean the classes for JEE preparation. Okay, the school classes you can skip, but JEE classes you need to attend. Okay, weekend is your incentive, weekend recreation, as I said earlier also, it is your incentive. So this will keep you motivated. When we study, we keep JEE Main as our target. We keep that JEE Main, but that will happen a long time after. All right, so we can't wait for that time to reward ourselves. So reward yourselves weekly, on a weekly basis. If your week has been very, very productive, okay, then you can have recreation on that weekend. Okay, and there were hours in the timetable that were of zero productivity. For example, you are getting up in the morning, you are taking about 1 hour to get ready for the school. Try to utilize some of that time into revision. Okay, stuff that can be done easily, that can be done without using pen and pencil. Okay, you are traveling in a school bus. Okay, open your revision copy, your notes copy, and start revising the notes. Okay, so like this, you can convert your zero productive hours into partially productive hours, and like this you will be able to boost your productivity. So guys, I hope you all will keep all these points in mind. You have to create systems. Okay, by systems, you have to create your belief system. Okay, you are to your expectations from yourself, that needs to be clear. I'll summarize what ideas I'm trying to convey. The idea of wastage, that that example that I gave for a jeweler and the gold that was wastage. Okay, so the wastage is not counted in the output. Okay, so like this, whatever hours you are investing in facilitation, that is not counted in studies. So keep that in mind. That will give you a clear indication of how much you are studying, and try to increase your study hours to at least 24 hours per week, your self-study hours. Okay, if you keep this point in mind and then you follow the timetable, you will be able to achieve a lot. Okay, so that's it from my side. Before leaving, I would just like to say one thing, that focused fool can accomplish more than a distracted genius. So don't be distracted, stay focused on ensuring that whatever number of hours you want to invest in the outcome, in the final outcome, they are invested every week. All right, students, on that note, I'll take your leave for now. I hope this session was able to give you some clarity regarding what your timetable should be. I'm pretty sure that you're already following the timetable, but a little bit of change of mindset will help you to make it more and more productive. Utilize your holidays very well. They are the most critical part of your time management. All right, students, take care. Bye-bye.